and start here. So, welcome to the WMI Community Development Seed Grant Info Session. This program is designed for you, so you are in the perfect spot today. Throughout this presentation, you will see photos of your fellow graduate scholars who are implementing seed and growth grants within their communities. I hope that you will notice many different scholars from your nation and report to them after the presentation. I saw you on Nicole's presentation on Saturday, and ask them questions about their seed grant too. So joining us today, we have scholars from 14 different nations registered. 66% of our attendees are male, with 34% being female. We asked some questions in the registration process, and I wanted to share some of the responses with you. We asked if you had an idea in mind for what you'd like to apply for a seed grant, what you'd like to apply for a seed grant for. Many of you said that you're interested in business creation, and then also an equal percent discussed the idea of an ongoing project or starting or expanding a CBO or NGO. We also asked if your proposed idea was related to your work of your area of study or work. 34 of you said yes, 100%. Fantastic. Then there are 8 individuals that said a little or no. These 8 individuals should contact me so we can discuss the proposed idea more, because it is a requirement that your proposed idea is directly related to your area of study or work. If you see here on the slide, it says not required. This not required, not required, not required was specifically related to the registration form. It meant this question is not required to answer. However, the proposal idea must be related to your area of study or work and must be implemented in the community where you are living or working. So please keep that in mind. During this webinar this morning, we're starting out with an introduction. Please, as I shared, introduce yourself, and feel free to use the chat throughout the presentation. As you all know, my name is Nicole Schmitz. I am our Assistant Director, and also I manage the Community Development Grant Program. This webinar is mandatory as an info session for those who plan to apply in April. And why is this a mandatory session? We have learned throughout the years that scholars who ask questions, who attend these info sessions, they develop more professional proposals. They submit proposals that include all elements that are required. And in the end, they are the applicants who are approved for grant funding more often. Okay, so this is also a great opportunity for you to learn and to start planning for when you do qualify. Based upon the registration, I know that we have a lot of student scholars with us this afternoon. That's fantastic. Once again, you are at the right location. You are putting your best foot forward to prepare an application in the future. Okay, so we will continue with our agenda here and jump right into program background. So this program, the Community Development Grants Program, is open to WMI graduate scholars only. It began in 2015 and has since awarded 75 grants, totaling nearly $70,000 in funding for your local communities. This is an opportunity for scholars to design initiatives to address your community needs. community needs that are related to healthcare, to education, the environment, women's rights, economic development, and more. We believe that your idea for local solutions are the best solutions. We know that you're active community leaders. We know that you're engaged in many different groups and roles within your community. And we trust that you know how to create very meaningful community partnerships. We have 2 grant categories, a seed grant and also a growth grant. And we have 3 application periods per year. So let's talk about the seed grant. This is a one-time grant of $100 to $1,000, and it's to help you start or expand a business, a community-based organization, a non-governmental organization, or a community service project or event. Excuse me. Who is eligible to apply? This is very important here. This is open to WMI graduate scholars in good standing. To meet the good standing requirement, this means that you have completed the most recent WMI Graduate Scholar Annual Survey, excuse me, and cannot have a case under review by the WMI Scholar Review Board. If you are a current scholar, you may qualify if you are going to complete your final exams by June 30th. I'm just going to put myself on mute here for a second. I have a cough, so I'm going to try to get rid of it for you all, and then I will be right back. Okay. Please note that if you are a student scholar who will complete your final exams by December 31st, you are eligible to apply in October. Okay, so what else can we share about eligibility? We have received some questions related to changes in academic schedules because of COVID-19. Some of you were supposed to write your final exams by June 30th, but that's changed. And we know this is something that many of you are struggling with and are affected by. And I know that Lisa is working with you closely. This program is specifically designed for graduate scholars, and that is because you have a little bit more time available to focus on this project. You will have time perhaps during the day for meetings, to host outreach, time during the weekend to host events. And this will not interfere with your studies. So for these reasons, we will be keeping with our requirements that you must complete your final exams by June 30th to apply in April, or complete your final exams by December 31st to apply in October. So the first element is to check, am I eligible as a WMI scholar? The second is my grant proposal eligible? So seed grants must be related to your area of study or work. They are required to be implemented in your nation and you to be in your nation. And the proposal should be implemented and managed by you, the graduate scholar. It should be implemented in your local community where you live or work, and only graduate scholars who have studied a field of animal science or veterinary science are eligible to apply for animal-related projects. This is an eligibility requirement that we have created based upon the success rates of previously awarded projects. we have determined that animal-related projects require a high level of involvement and knowledge and upkeep, and those who studied these specific fields have had the best results. So for that reason, until further notice, only graduate scholars who have studied these fields are eligible to apply. An individual cannot receive a seed and growth grant within the same 12-month period. We're going to talk about the growth grant just a little bit more towards the end, because I know many of you are excited for this opportunity as well. What we have covered this far: an introduction to the program. You now know there are two different award types. The award amount of the seed grant in which you are or will become eligible for is up to $1,000. Your general eligibility requirements and your proposal grant idea requirements. So I'm going to stop my screen share right now. I'm going to check our Q&A to see if anyone's asking questions. I also will apologize for my cough. It's great to see everyone introducing themselves here. Fantastic. And we do not have any questions yet, which is okay. Please feel free to use the Q&A here if you would like, if you have questions. All right, one moment. Once again, I'm just going to clear my throat for you all. Very sorry. Okay, we're going to jump into the second half of our presentation now. Okay, the application timeline. So the good news is that the application period will be open soon. And it is a requirement, as I shared before, to attend this webinar. So you are here, fantastic. Only when we're in the application period are you eligible to apply. So please note the two application periods that are coming up this year. For more specific dates related to the application timeline, you can find them on the Community Development Grant webpage. So you're here, step one. What should you be doing now? Confirm your eligibility. If you have any questions, please send me an email. You should start thinking about your grant proposal idea, and if necessary, if there is any gray area, if you are unsure, please do confirm that your grant proposal idea meets eligibility requirements as well. Okay, so the round one application process. Step one, determine your eligibility. Step two, develop your proposal's eligibility. Step three is to prepare your application. This includes writing your written proposal as a Word document, completing the planning timeline, which is a WMI template, completing your budgets, also a WMI template, submitting the official application form, which will be live April 1st through 15th, and this is a Google form. And within that form, you have the opportunity to upload any additional supporting documents. I've put a list here on the slide of what those additional supporting documents could be. Please note that they're optional and you do not need to submit any of these documents. Only if you have them would it be good to submit. Finally, submit your complete application by April 15th. So I just shared that you need to use WMI templates. On this slide here, I have written more about the templates and the resources that are available to you. So these templates and resources are located on the WMI Community Development Grants webpage. There will be a link in this presentations on the slides so that you can access these templates and resources easily. In addition, if you attend this webinar or if you registered, you will receive a follow-up email with all these templates attached to that email. Tips for application success. Definitely go to our website, review the webpage, become familiar with the application process. Download the templates, start using them as you plan. Take time to read the 5 tips. They are small paragraphs on our website for writing a successful proposal. Your written proposal will be the element of your application that takes you the most time to complete. The written proposal should be very detailed and should answer many specific questions, which we ask you on the written proposal guidelines handout. This is a document you will also receive via email. It's also on the website. Another great tip is to connect with graduate scholars who are implemented or who have implemented a seed grant in the past, and ask your questions early. It is never too early to ask questions, and I am here to help you throughout this process. So once you apply, what happens? Your application will be reviewed. You will receive written feedback. We want to work with you to help you get your application to the stage where it can be approved for funding. So this takes effort on both sides, ours and yours, to get to that stage. We're going to host an online coaching call where we'll discuss that feedback and give you strategies to improve your proposal. This is where it's your turn to revise. Submit your revised proposal. It will be reviewed and awarded, or you'll receive an email that encourages you to apply next time. And then we'll meet to have our pre-funding call. So before your funds are sent, we will discuss designed M&E metrics for you, surveys, and we'll talk more about the monthly reporting requirements as an awardee. Once your funds are sent and you begin your project, you will have monthly reporting requirements, which we'll discuss in the next slide. Will be available for you at any time to jump on Zoom calls, to check in, to help you through any challenges you may be facing. And we ask that, as you've seen in this presentation, that you send us photos throughout the implementation of your proposal. We want to share your story. We want to help you connect with others within your community and internationally to continue your project or your business, to help you expand, and also to seek additional funding. Work hard and succeed are guiding steps for you. So once you are awarded a grant, you will sign an agreement for reporting. This is normal for grant reporting to take place, and it's an excellent opportunity for you to learn that process with WMI in a safe, friendly environment where we're here to support you all the time, so that when you do receive outside funding in the future, you will know how to complete different processes. We use Google Drive, and this means you will need a Gmail account so that you can access the shared documents. Monthly reporting composes of financial tracking and M&E tracking. We create 2 trackers for you, and this is something that you update at the end of each month. For financial tracking, you always will document your expenses and your revenue that comes in with receipts. For M&E tracking, you'll have an Excel sheet where you will document different indicators each month. For example, how many beneficiaries served? If you have a business, what was the sales revenue of that month? How many employees did you have that month? How many volunteers engaged with your project that month? We also have periodic reporting, which is through a Google form where you give us a little bit more detail. You share a challenge with us, a success with us. We'll have financial check-in calls to help you get back on track if needed. And we also, as shared before, ask that you do aim to take photos throughout the implementation. So your next steps, an email will be sent to you early next week. It will include the recording of this webinar. It'll also include the slides as a PDF document and current application templates. You're encouraged to review the webpage. Please review the webpage. You're encouraged to contact me with any questions and to submit your application, if eligible, by April 15th. So I shared in the beginning that we would briefly touch on the growth grant. The growth grant is a one-time grant of up to $5,000. So this is a much larger award, and it's to help with the growth or expansion of a seed grant initiative. So step one is to apply for a seed grant, successfully implement your seed grant, and continue running it. Step two is to then apply for a growth grant. The growth grant specifically is related to your seed grant. The two grants, the two proposals, have to be for the same project or business. Okay? The growth grant will support one-time capital investments, the procurement of new systems and resources to increase staffing, and also support matching fund opportunities. A key eligibility requirement, as I just stressed, is that you needed to have successfully implemented your seed grant. And how do we measure success? We will be looking at your M&E tracker. We will be reviewing what your goals and objectives were for the seed grant. And we'll be having a conversation with you. Did you meet your goals and objectives? Did you document all M&E requirements? Did you document all of your expenses and revenues with receipts? We will look at each project, each seed grant, and then write to seed grantees to share if they're eligible to apply for a growth grant. It's a very exciting time for WMI. The growth grant is new as of 2020. So this is a new area where we are expanding because you asked for it. Within our WMI Graduate Scholar Survey each year, we ask for your feedback and suggestions. And what we've read often is that you have benefited from the seed grant. You've started, say, a community-based organization, or you've started a business, but you need help in taking it to the next level, taking the next step. This is where the growth grant was designed to fill that need that you expressed to us. So we are very excited to continue expanding and listening to what you ask for, what you request, what you share is needed in your Graduate Scholar Annual Survey. There's lots more to talk about related to the growth grant. I'm going to suggest that you read the webpage, and also in August, we will have a short, once again, 30-minute webinar where we will talk specifically about the growth grant. So I encourage you to attend then as well. A key question that we can address today is, when will I be eligible? So right here on the screen, we have a hypothetical situation. You apply for a seed grant in April 2021. You're approved and awarded in July. July is when the funds will be sent to you. You implement your project. You are successful. You do excellent monthly record keeping and reporting. You are then invited to apply for the growth grant in September 2021. You would then receive your growth grant funding in January 2023. So I hope that this roadmap here will help you, also encourage you, and think about the future. So we are very excited, as you see on this screen, to share that in 2020, we have awarded our first growth grants to 3 graduate scholars, Bonnie Mark, Isabella, and Jimmy Francis, to all continue their seed grants. We're looking forward to the growth grant awardee number growing as more and more of you apply for seed grants. So thank you very much for standing with me, for hanging on throughout my coughing. Apologize again today. I am going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to see if we have any questions that are general that will benefit you all. Okay. So we have a question here, and it's related to COVID-19. The question is as follows. There are many restrictions within my community related to COVID, and those restrictions change weekly and monthly. Should I still apply for a seed grant? So we can share confidently that we understand this is impacting all scholars throughout the world. And what is most important is that you are following the guidelines and the policies in which are global for health, and also the policies for your local community. Your health and well-being and that of your beneficiaries should be number one. So we do have grantees, awardees, who have their projects on hold at the moment. We have some projects which are to be implemented in secondary schools, and those large assembly presentations and training sessions are not able to happen right now. So we will work with you as an awardee. We are very understanding, and we are hopeful. We are hopeful that you will be able to implement your visions very soon when the conditions allow. So that's a great question. Okay, we have another good question. What could be the reason for a few number of people being granted the growth grants? So this is a very new program. It just started last year, and it is a very detail-oriented application. We are asking you to provide information about what you have done, your finances, how you will grow, what's your sustainability plan. So there's a lot to that growth grant application. We're here to help you through every stage. And I will say that we had fewer applicants because there were fewer eligible individuals for the growth grant in year one. Every year, more WMI graduate scholars will be eligible to apply for the growth grant, and we anticipate and project that there will be more and more growth grant awardees each year. So good question. And we look forward to you being eligible one day. Okay. We have another question that's very specific to a scholar's proposed activities. So I'm going to reply to that scholar directly. Okay, So if you have any more questions, I'm going to give a minute or two more, so please type them in the Q&A. If not, if a question comes to you later today, tomorrow, next week, please feel free to email me. I'm happy to help you determine if you're eligible and if your proposal idea is eligible as well. Here's a question asking for confirmation. The question is, I saw many photos that were related to community activities and only a few that were business oriented. Can I apply to start my own business? The answer is yes. The seed grant is an opportunity for you to start your own CBO, NGO, community event, community program, or business. So absolutely, we are encouraging all categories, and the grant funding can support business creation or expansion. Okay, we have another question. If I apply for a seed grant, can I do anything to give back to my community? Or are there specific areas that you require for us to touch base and focus on? The answer is that your idea can be related to anything that you identify as a community need. However, what you implement should be directly related to your area of study or work. So you need to balance what you would like to work on and check your proposal's eligibility with your eligibility. Are business proposals acceptable? Yes. Can I make a business that will serve my community, but as well make a profit for the establishment? Yes. You can seek seed grant funding for a for-profit business, absolutely. In addition, in the future, your growth grant proposal would be eligible for business expansion. A few examples of for-profit businesses and social enterprises from the photos in the PowerPoint included a graduate scholar in Ghana who started an over-the-counter pharmacy, right? So he is serving his community. He is providing access to medicine and also health screenings. In addition, he is selling medicines, making a profit. We also had a photo of a hand sanitizer business. This seed grant is producing a product, selling a product, making a profit. And for this particular grant, a percentage of the profits is going to support an NGO, and then a percentage of the profits are being reinvested back into the business. We have many examples of businesses, and you're encouraged. So good question. Okay, so I want to be conscious of everyone's time. I want to thank you for attending today. Once again, please reach out to me with any questions. I will be back to work on Monday. So if you do send questions today or tomorrow, I will prioritize you and answer your questions related to the Community Development Seed Grant on Monday. So thank you very much. I will make note of everyone who attended today, as this was a mandatory info session, and I look forward to seeing everyone's applications in April. So thank you very much and have a good weekend, everyone.